Hi, this is Jeremy Hauser, host of the Advisor Mentorship Podcast. You will not want to miss out on this episode if you are an entrepreneur, as you are looking to take your business to the next level here through the remainder of 2024. It all keys in on a couple of different things: sales, marketing, and operations. Operations is a huge focus of this episode, as our COO of Simplicity Group, Ken McGee, is going to give you some inside baseball when it comes to operating and institutionalizing your business, best practices, and how we are able to continue to not only go through processes that will help bring more value to your business, but most importantly for you as the advisor, what opportunity lies for you with us partnered here at Simplicity. So check out this episode, subscribe on your favorite listening device. With that, kick off the episode. Take care.
Systems work, people fail. Welcome to InsureMark's Advisor Mentorship Podcast with Vice President Jeremy Hauser.
Operations is the key to success in 2024. So if you are an entrepreneur, you are in the right place. Welcome to this week's episode of the Advisor Mentorship Podcast. I'm your host, Jeremy Hauser, and today we have a very special guest on, as we have the COO of Simplicity, Ken McGee. How are we doing today, Ken?
We're doing great, Jeremy. I hope you are.
I'm doing all right. Yeah, we're a lot of things going on. AST. Obviously, we have a lot of advisors that are enjoying that particular event here in Houston. So, but we're doing good. Looking forward to this episode because as we talk to a lot of advisors, entrepreneurs across the country, I see that in 2024, it looks like if you really break down a business model of sales, marketing, and operations, the advisors that are having the most tremendous success this year, they're really focusing and laser focused on the operations side. So I was pretty excited to get you on. And just for the audience to know a little bit more about you. So tell us a little bit about your role at Simplicity and also a little bit about Ken.
Sure. Happy to. Thank you very much, Jeremy. And again, thank you for having me on the podcast. I'm looking forward to it. Today, I'm a partner at Simplicity, and my day-to-day responsibilities would really be that of a COO. Personally, I've been in the financial services and insurance distribution business for, hard to believe, 25 plus years now. And I started in sales. That's how I came up and through the business. And then over time, throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to be in all aspects of the business. And probably in the last 10 to 15 years, as our industry has consolidated, we saw it, on the P&C and the benefits realm of massive consolidation, and I was a part of that. And as that has continued on in our business, Jeremy, I've been able to be on both the buy side as well as the sell side of this. And just through my roles and where they've been on the other side of those, it's always been tied somehow to, okay, and now we integrate. How do we do that? How do we scale the business? How do we institutionalize the business? So as you know, Jeremy, and a lot of our advisors and our partners know, Simplicity has done a number of acquisitions and brought on a lot of partners over the last few years. And I've been on that journey that a lot of them are either going through today or will be going on. And I've had the luxury, I guess, or the battle scars of seeing it done really, really well. And, how it goes sideways. So we work alongside our partners as they come on and they go on that journey, both them as well as their employees and their staff. So that's my day-to-day role today.
If you dive a little deeper, so we've had how many offices as we record today make up
70.
Simplicity? So 70. Okay. And so that's not chump change. That's a lot of different opinions, a lot of different businesses nationally. So for the entrepreneur listening to this, there's a lot of moving parts. So what are some of the things that you've noticed that are some challenges for bringing organizations together to make it institutionalized?
Sure. I would say the first thing and what's paramount is alignment of interest and alignment of culture. Mm-hmm. So And our team, the Simplicity team, is very clear on what that is. Once we have an alignment of culture and alignment of interest, everything else is sort of between those guardrails, and there's a wide lane to get things done. As our partners come on board from an integration perspective, it's very much they come into this massive wealth of resources and opportunities and things that they can plug into. And it becomes, okay, what can we do first? What should we do first? And what can wait? Because everything can't be done all at once. So our integration process, sure, there are some things that have to be done. And quite often our partners, as they come on board, there are things that, may have been bogging them down for years that don't bring their expertise or their reason for being into the business to the forefront of it. And they want to sort of either get rid of that or get some help with that. So how do we get that off our plate, and how can Simplicity help them do that? And then working on an individualized plan with them of, okay, where do you want to go and how do you plug into Simplicity to maximize this opportunity for you, your employees, and the institutionalization of your office and your business. One, without losing that entrepreneurship that is critical, and we want to continue to fan those flames of entrepreneurship, but then leverage the resources that Simplicity has on a national platform.
And out of the 70 offices, how many actual employees? I would assume, if anybody knows, right?
Sure, we're over 1,000 employees today. Across Simplicity, our partner offices today, which makes us one of, if not the largest, financial products distribution company in the country. And if you looked at all of the products we have in the marketplace, it's probably the most combined insurance insurance sales in the industry today.
It's incredible. And I mean, so like I said, there's just so many things where we work obviously with a lot of offices where they may have multiple people on staff. A lot of offices within our family of financial advisors may have one person and then an assistant. So obviously some advisors grow at different sizes. So for really what you've seen as new organizations join us, so talk a little bit about what are the first things businesses do when they start to institutionalize themselves? What do they focus on? How do we help them do that?
The institutionalization, as we look at it, Jeremy, it's not about becoming this cogged machine where the entrepreneurship goes away, right? So when we're talking about institutionalizing, it means, okay, becoming a permanent organization and not being reliant. To your point, very often the advisors or our partners, as they come on board, there may be one person, two people, three people. So the people are so key that there's not necessarily a permanency to the organization. It's making that transformation from that to a permanent organization. So that way, let's say that founder decides he or she wants to retire, or they want to move one process to something else, that the whole system doesn't blow up as a result of that. That's the institutionalization side of this. It becomes a permanent organization. And very often for the advisors or our partners that come on, it allows them then to go back to doing all the things that they enjoyed, but then they built a business and all of a sudden the stuff just kept getting added on, and they lost the ability to do things that they really enjoy. They get to go back and do that, and they get to focus on that. And then the things that you need for a permanent organization, they can offload some of that stuff. And it allows, for their relationships to know that, okay, this is a permanent organization and this is going to be here for the long haul. And if we run all the way down the road of institutionalization, when it comes time to do something with that business, those businesses that have been institutionalized, they can sell for a much larger multiple of earnings, not just that 1 to 2 years of net revenue, whatever that model may be. It's looked at as, hey, that's a permanent organization. The valuation of that business is much higher.
So let's dive a little into the personalization of it. So from your shoes and your vantage point of watching these individuals who decide to move forward with Simplicity as small business owners who have large companies or just a couple people in their organization, personally, what do you see? Is there relief when they have something like this, to where now they have a bigger vision, a bigger thing that they're a part of? Or can you talk to the emotional side of what you see as we bring on new partners for giving up their baby, as you may?
That's right. I mean, for the majority of our partners, and we never lose sight of this, this is likely the largest asset that they have in, that person or those people built it, or their family started it and it's been handed down. It is one, from a financial aspect, probably one of the largest things in their life. But there's also the emotional tie to that, whether that's the brand name, whether it's, hey, I come and I work 80 to 100 hours a week. So does my staff. And we built this. And now what happens? If I go back to the background, the experience that we've gone through, we've seen the integration, or I've seen the integration of organizations go really well when that's not lost as part of the integration, and go really poorly when the organization comes over the top and blows up all the special things and tamps down that entrepreneurial spirit that those people have and completely changes how that organization is done. It's more of, in the simplicity model to that, is allow those communities to continue on and provide support for them in order to continue to do that. So when our partners come on board, sure, there are some things that have to move over, and very often our partners can't get rid of that fast enough, so human resources, getting that offloaded, finance, legal, compliance, getting that's some of the blocking and tackling things. And then from there, it's the checking of the boxes of what integration looks like. But then there's the people side of it, which really is the most important piece. For those folks that come on, the partners that come on board, we meet with every single one of our new partners and their staff face to face, because that has to be a great experience for the partners team, whether that's one person or 50 people, that team knows you're part of Simplicity now, and your opportunities just went from whatever it was to something that's exponential. And your job's not getting eliminated. It's more of, okay, is there something you want to do that gives you a wider career path? Is there something across Simplicity that you can plug into now? We want to give them that, and we want that message delivered to them day one, because those employees, right, generally wondering, what's in it for me? Am I getting fired? What are my benefits? What's the opportunity, right? And we come in day one to have those communications with that team, because they are critical to the permanency of that partner, and that partner being able to have organic growth and scale going forward. So that's our sort of model as we go in and we help our partners integrate. As each partner has to sort of figure out their own plan, and we work with them on what that plan looks like. Once we get the blocking and tackling done, how do you want to grow the business? How do you want to scale? Where do you want to plug in institutionalizing that plan for them?
Yeah. And I can, as you well put together, you articulated really well. And just from personal experience from the employee side of obviously InsureMark, I remember Bruce actually flying down to Houston, and when they made the announcement that Simplicity officially purchased InsureMark, and Steve and everybody, Jeff, leadership team. So even though we've continued to grow, leadership never really changed from the higher ups. Y'all didn't necessarily import or say that, you have to do this or this. Y'all let us kind of still run the business itself, 6-7 years later, or no, 5 years now,
right.
For InsureMark. And it's actually been a great ride. So personally going through it, it is meaningful. It's not just words. All of our employees that were there. So leadership still hasn't changed, nothing.
That's
so
right.
It is actually a proven model. And with that, I know I was excited about having you on, because we've been in the news lately here with Simplicity. And so I wanted to actually ask you a couple questions about it's a hot topic, especially in our industry. It's almost, I don't know if it's the first of its kind, but there was some recent news that there was recapitalization for Simplicity. So what exactly does that mean, and why all the excitement around that for Simplicity partners and members or employees?
Sure. The recapitalization, extremely exciting for sure. It's first, we've talked about helping our partners, helping our advisors, they institutionalize their business. Mm-hmm. This event is a validation of our own institutionalization process. It allows us to say, yes, the thesis that we're working on and what we're building, this is a validation of that. It's also a recognition of the value of combining protection and accumulation products and creating an opportunity for our new investors to finance the continued build out of what we're building, meaning the operations platform, the technology platform, the continued resources, the things that will help our partner offices, our sales offices, and our advisors continue to grow and scale. This is a recommitment for that. What makes this work, though, is our commitment to employee ownership and having regular liquidity events for our employee owners. That gives that this is real, right? It's not something that, okay, great, I'm an owner. What does that mean? The regular liquidity events, sort of put that time in and say, okay, great, everything that we've been working towards and we've been building together, we can see based on a liquidity event that, wow, that's really working. And this validates all the work we do, you do, your team does day in and day out to grow Simplicity on it. And that it's a long-term commitment to building equity value by building the best distribution business in the market. This is where it aligns the interests of all the partners in Simplicity. Mm-hmm. And going back to the point that you made, Jeremy, as your office, your team has, gone through, that 5-year journey.
Yep. Our
role is really to work for our sales offices. They help really guide this business in the direction that we're going. And our job, my job, is to make sure that, okay, great, how are we helping them do that? And serving as a conduit of information and people to make sure that that continues to grow so that when that next event comes, that we are all aligned during that process and we're all going in that same direction. And the partners, Jeremy, hey, I know where Simplicity is going and I know that we're driving this direction. And as employee owners, there's a great outcome, both financially and tied to a permanent organization of why we're doing that.
Mm-hmm. Especially, you think of it, it just becomes real almost before even diving into like different perspectives of there's marketing organizations and then there's advisors, mm-hmm. but it makes it real. So when actually some group is willing to say, hey, I'm willing to look at you guys based off of y'all's growth and what y'all are doing, and y'all are a long-term deal. Can we talk a little bit about like I would just assume somebody who is selling their business to Simplicity to be part of something incredible, the thought in their head is succession planning just to make sure the business is still there when they're gone, but to have financial opportunities, that's really what y'all are building here, if I hear you correctly.
That's correct. And we're looking for people to help continue to do that as well. I would say this has all been great and the validation of what we're building is great. The opportunity on the other side of this, Jeremy, is we know we're not done. And there's so much more to do. And this event allows us to continue to invest and be able to do that as we continue to institutionalize Simplicity, right? It's not a pounding of the chest of, hey, we're done. We did it. Look at this. Great. It's okay. Great. Now what? Now what can we continue to do and do better, do more of that sort of start, stop, continue mentality of how do we do the next thing and what's coming down the road. We know we're far from perfect for sure. This is a great outcome. It's exciting for everybody involved, but we see this as, okay, great. Now we get to continue to, grow and do things. We're an organic growth organization. We reference, sure, we do mergers and acquisitions for sure on it, but everything that we look at is how do we then help that drive organic growth to bring value to our partners, our advisors, our employees, everybody that chooses to align with Simplicity on it. This event helps us do that better.
Yeah, and that's the whole, the theme of the show too for the podcast is, proven systems and processes. So it's the model. So it actually walking the walk, talking the talk. So it's actually a proven system process that's working. So what's in it for an advisor? So that's great. You guys are great, right? That they might be hearing this, but so for an advisor, what does that mean? So you mentioned some tech, some opportunities for some additional systems. So for an advisor, why is this exciting for them? Just the proof of concept, or what makes it exciting for them?
It's both of those, Jeremy. It's everything that you hit on. Yes, proof of concept, for sure, right? But also validation or confidence that there will be continued investment, technology, operations, resources, and permanent capital to continue to help do that. Recruiting more great wholesalers and operations people so that we can continue to serve those advisors and help them grow and scale their business. Also confidence that this business is built for the long haul. Who they've chosen to align with, this is a permanent business for sure. And we can survive any market, right? And getting back to the institutionalization side of this, there's no key founder risk with Simplicity, right? There's no succession risk. And they have a continued opportunity to continue to work with the Jeremys of Simplicity for decades to come. For them, this isn't a great, when Jeremy retires, then what, right? No, this is a permanent organization. We'll continue to invest in that permanency. This is a continued validation of that. And then also, as the landscape continues to change and what those services are, what they need to be, they're aligned with an organization that has the resources to do that and invest in the future to be proactive on what's to come.
And I mean, as I'm listening to this, and obviously always my advisors, I kind of think on behalf of them, like, what would they ask here? So as you talked about a lot of good opportunities, so employee opportunity for recapitalization, is there a time, or do you see in the future, could advisors be a part of Simplicity when it comes to these type of recapitalizations, or have some ownership within Simplicity?
For sure. That is something that, we are always interested in the opportunity for our advisors, our employees who are aligned with Simplicity to have, a benefit of doing that. And my recommendation, Jeremy, would be for those advisors and agents that are interested in what could that potentially be, to reach out, talk with their advisor development consultants on, hey, what would that, or what could that potentially look like, for sure.
No, that's exciting. Because I know that's where, growing up, and especially just entrepreneur wise, there's only so many ways to become a millionaire or have wealth in, business class and so forth. So the main one is obviously equity. So it's exciting for an employee, for one, wherein you don't start the company to have equity opportunities. But if you're building an organization with your partners and they have an opportunity to participate in the growth that they've helped build, I mean, that's actually really exciting. Okay.
The opportunity for Simplicity employees to be, to have a financial interest for sure in Simplicity, that aligns our interests as an organization, for sure. And that is a model that we have and will continue to have as we go forward.
No, that's good. And that's why I wanted to make sure I had you on, because, it's been a lot of buzz, the recapitalization. I've gotten a lot of good feedback, actually from advisors saying like, hey, so what is this? And I was like, you know what? I don't know. Let me have somebody at the top of the food chain express to you all kind of what this means and what it means to the organization and also for advisors. So thanks for clearing that up. Is there anything that you wanted to mention, or anything as we close out here that we forgot?
The only thing I would say, Jeremy, one, I don't know if I'm the top of the food chain, right? We're partners. I think you're top of the food chain on that. So
I think COO is if you ask Bruce, that's a pretty big deal. But go on. All right. I'll talk for you. Go ahead.
But the thing of that is, right, is, yes, it's exciting. The recapitalization, we're excited about it, but it's also business as normal, meaning, the management team, the permanency of that organization, there's confidence in that. That just continues on, right? So there's no changes there. But what it creates are the opportunities. And so to answer your question directly on it would be, as we continue to focus as an organization, independent distribution, our advisors, our agents, those are our customers, and then we serve them in the end. We would welcome the feedback through their ADCs. What are we doing well? And what do we need to do better, right? We had talked a little bit earlier about, hey, where are we going? What do we continue to do? We know it's not perfect today, and we don't lack ambition for what do we need to be doing. And that direct feedback from the advisors, agents, is gold for where do we need to continue to go? What are we doing great? Wonderful. But more importantly, what do we need to be doing that we're not doing? What do you do more of, less of? What do you need to help you institutionalize your business? We want that feedback. That would be great. So any advisor, agent listening to this, talking to their ADCs and giving honest feedback of what do we need to do more of, less of, or better. So that way this partnership continues to be very beneficial and improve for our advisors and agents as we continue together.
Well said. Yeah, that's very true. And as the years go on, it's incredible. Just so many blind spots that we just continue to purchase of different resources for advisors that you don't realize the significance until you're a year into it and you realize, oh, wow, actually that was a pretty big deal. So yeah, we welcome the feedback. Thanks so much, Ken, for your time today. And also thank you to the listener for tuning in. Feel free to subscribe on your favorite listening device so you do not miss out on any future episodes of the Advisor Mentorship Podcast. Follow us on LinkedIn as well at Jeremy Hauser, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Jeremy Hauser AMP for additional weekly clips. And when we're closing out here, as you share this episode with a friend or a colleague, make sure to remember, in a world full of betas, be an alpha.